Good afternoon, traders. This is a live trade recap. I took a trade just a few minutes ago. This is kind of weird, and I really want to share it because I consider, even though it was a green trade, a very small green trade, it's a mistake. And, I want to share everything with you guys. Also, it helps me to reflect on what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, and then to figure out whether or not I should do it again. And trading at this time is something I almost never do, or pretty much never. The only reason I did today was because I had some price alerts set and they triggered. And I think what I'm going to do in the future is once I'm done trading in the open, I'm going to delete all my price alerts because they're really there just for the first half hour or hour of the market movement of the day. And I'm not really interested in taking trades late in the afternoon, but I had the whole day off today, so I was kind of sitting here doing something else, but I had my computer on in the background, and my price alert triggered on my phone, and I said, okay, let me take a look. It was a alert to tell me, to buy if the price crossed this threshold and then pulled back. So that's what this is, and the stock was Vray, and it was kind of like a top gainer of the day, and that's why it got on my list. And you see it made this really nice run here, and I had a price alert set when it broke this was the pre-market high right here. So as soon as it broke the pre-market high, my price alert was set. Webull did a funny thing there with the candlestick again. That seems to be happening more and more. So my original idea was to get in for the break of 555, but then you see when that candle finished forming, the top was actually 559. So now that means I have to wait for this thing to break 559 and take an entry, and then my stop loss would be the low of that candle, which is 549. So it's about a 10-cent stop. So not a huge risk. I mean, I was risking like 70 cents here, and I had the cushion from early in the day. I had like 245 in profit, so I could definitely afford the loss, but it's just not really part of my plan to trade at this time. So I think I'm going to be really adamant about deleting my price alerts at the end of each market open session. That way I don't get tricked into trading later in the day. So that's kind of the danger of the price alert. And then, what I was expecting this thing to do was once it broke through that high of this candle is to really pop up strong. And it didn't really do that, especially considering like all this buying volume in, this thing really should have taken off, and it didn't do that. And I kind of went back and forth on, should I hold this to 2R or not? And I ultimately decided not to hold it till 2R because of, there's too many unknowns here. I don't normally trade at this time, and I know that the volume can be kind of weak. Maybe this thing will run to 2R a little bit later, but there was just too many things wrong with this going into it. So I just felt like, you know what, I'm just going to set my stop. I did initially set the 2R target, but as this thing just kind of traded sideways, I actually walked away from it. Once I set these two sell orders, I walked away from this telling myself, you know what, I got into this thing and I can only either take 2R or 1R. So I walked away, and then I kind of came back to it and saw that it had run up pretty strong here for a moment. I wasn't sitting in front of the computer when it made this run. I might have pulled this down. Knowing me, I probably would have, considering all the things wrong with this trade from my perspective. And then by the time I got back to it, I think it was like over here. It was right around my entry. Yeah, you can see my cursor start to move. Just trying to see where was my cursor. Oh yeah, there. So that's when I sat down and saw what had happened, and that even though it didn't hit my 2R, it did miss. I could have taken some shares off here, considering that I didn't really like this trade to begin with. And then so what I did was I just canceled out these sell orders and started scaling out. Which is again not ideal, but considering that once I was in this trade, I kind of regretted it immediately because this is not a time of day that I normally trade, and I just kind of, got tricked into this trade, or allowed myself to get tricked into this trade because of the price alert that I had set earlier. So basically, this is like a waste of a trade. Although I learned a lesson from it. you know, I'm scaling out with tiny profit here, because this thing just, it wasn't really going to move that much anyway. I mean, it was a 10-cent risk. So so essentially I scraped 25 cents from that trade, which is totally not worth it, because I think the trade, you know, cost me right around $40 or something. Let's see, what was it? My position was 559 times 7 shares. Yeah, 39 bucks. So less, you know, little more than 0.5%. Yeah, like 0.6% on that trade. So totally not worth it, and just something I just kind of fell into, a trap, I guess you could say, and just wanted to share it with you guys, because it seems like almost every day you learn new things about trading and new ways to get yourself into trouble, and that's one today. So I'm definitely going to go through all my alerts and delete them, and try to do that every single day, because I set a whole bunch of alerts today because I had so many stocks on the watch list that I wanted to just keep an eye on everything and not miss. Yeah, there you can see my alerts. There's an alert. So it's definitely a great tool when you're trading the market open to have those alerts set. But yeah, once you're done, just delete them, because otherwise you're going to get tricked back into trading a little later. Oh, and there, look, it went to 2R. So there, geez. So that's another mistake on my part. You know, once I was in the trade, I could have held the 2R. It never came down toward my stop. So there's another, let me just go ahead and delete that. Well, that popped up, gave me the opportunity. So yeah, my 2R was, the technical 2R I think was 581, which it went to, and I chickened out and sold it, you know, after it hit 570. I sold it around this area for, you know, much less than I would have made. Let me see, if I would have held even to that 579, that would have been 20 cents times 7 shares. So $1.40. Instead, I made 25 cents. So, but you know what? I mean, it's kind of like at that point, like I said, I just wasn't very comfortable in this trade. So I got out, and, you know, two wrongs don't make it right. So, you know, I mean, maybe trying to hold 2R would be trying to, like, you know, make up for my mistake of getting into this thing. But so anyway, just, you know, continuously learning, especially from the mistakes. And I hope you guys are learning too. And I will probably, I'm not sure if I'm going to trade in the aftermarket. I have to see. I have to have enough funds left to take 2 trades in the aftermarket and 2 in the pre-market tomorrow before my funds settle. So depending on that will determine whether or not I take a trade. So maybe I'll see you later, maybe not. If not, let me know if this helped you. And I'll see you in the next video. Take care.